This is a quick shout out to Cameron Wright on the Miniature Addiction Google Group. He just joined up this week and he's been asking about red on K-Door, and I thought I'd just share quickly how I do my reds. I don't have any K-Door, but this is obviously a Cryx Slayer Warjack, and I've put some just red highlighting really to break up the fact that the rest of it is the sort of Cryx green colour. I just like adding a sort of accent to it, so I've put some red around the claws, and I've used my sort of classic red technique, which comes out with quite a rich tone really there, as you can see. Got another model over here which used a similar red, and you can see it on the shoulder pads again. It's my Cryx. This is called a Death Jack if you're not familiar with Warmachine, and I've given the large shoulder pads the same red treatment as the Slayer, which is quite a simple method, I think. The sort of horned face has the similar red again, and so do the little tiny accents around the sort of skulls on the claws. So just to run through, I'm not going to paint now, I'm just doing this as a quick shout out really, that I use the Scorn Red is the main bulk of the red on there, and but before I went on with Scorn Red I used this kind of what I'd call a reddish brown, which is this Bloodstone. That's a great cut base for red. Any kind of, if you want that sort of deep rich colour, go for a dark, not too dark a brown, but this sort of reddish orangey brown I guess it's called. Then I would have gone on with Scorn Red to the bulk of it, leaving that darker brown only in the tiny sort of corners. But you can see it if you look at the edge of that shoulder pad, you can see it sort of goes to a darker level, and the same on the horns on the front there. You can see it goes to a dark corner, and that's mainly that brown. Then I would highlight the very, very tiny bits of the edge, as you can see there, would have had the Scorn Red mixed with this yellow, is it Sunburst? What's it called? No, Heartfire. Heartfire, sort of a yellowy orange. I don't go too heavy on with this, otherwise it can start to look as if, well, you lose the red really, and it starts to look a bit like flames or something. But you can see it sort of works okay on those shoulder pads. And if I go in closer on the edge of the inside of there you can see I've gone on, trying to get my finger to the right place, I've gone on with that very tiny fine edge. And then to finish it off, oh well, actually one thing worth mentioning, I do use the Privateer Press mixing medium, which is brilliant. Just whenever you're mixing two things together, it just makes it much smoother, so it's worth just using it as something that you do when you mix two colours together. Put a little drop of that in as well, and it just makes it smoother and the paint more transparent. It goes on really well. I want to finish off with the classic Griffin Sepia wash, which is what would have gone into the very darker edges again on these pads, on the hands, the claws. You can see that gives it that sort of richness on there, so the darker into the corner. I might have even put Badab Black right into the edges on there to darken that up. I mean, just out of interest for anybody modelling Warmachine, because all the components like the shoulder pads, or even now they're plastic, this is a metal older one, but things like the heads and stuff, you can glue them in as you wish. So when I pull them together, I like to try and give it a bit of a pose. So he's looking to the stage left, yeah, looking to the left, and then the claws sort of pulled back as if it's doing some sort of attack motion there. I just like giving them a little bit of an action pose. And people have accused the Death Jack of being a jazz hands model, because a lot of people do it with both hands sort of coming out to the side of the body in that kind of jazz hands way I'm doing here. I've managed to put him on this base where it's stepping up, but it's got enough weight that it doesn't fall over, and additionally pulled out this one arm, which isn't normally, people wouldn't model it with that arm out, but I've done that and pinned that in. And then finally the other hand has come down to the side to give it extra weight, and it sort of balances up with the way it's stepping up and reaching out for an attack and then looking to the side. Just interesting things to do with these warjacks when you put them together, is to try and give them that different dynamic feel, so they don't just look like they're stomping forward with no character, which obviously the sculptor wasn't intending, because they are quite nice models in terms of how dynamic they can look. And you can see there, that's the Slayer scale one compared to the larger Death Jack, which is like a character jack. And then here you can see the miniatures I was working on the last video. They're still drying off from their filter wash that they've had put on, which are these epic scale ones. So you can get a feel for quite how small they are up against the larger scale models. Okay, thanks very much. Well, hopefully there's some information there on the red, and maybe in a video soon I'll actually show you how I do that red painting as well. I mean, it's not the perfect technique, it just happens to be how I've been doing it recently. Thanks for listening in. Bye.